Hello, everybody. Welcome to Is Nothing Easy, the only podcast. I'm your host, Kaylin. And I'm joined by Kyle once again.
Hello, Kaylin. I see we're both in the midst. Oh, important update, by the way. My fucking water bottle's actually full of water this time, so I'm not gonna be awkwardly chewing ice throughout the entire thing. Although I'm probably gonna run out of water. I drink far too much water. This is the day after we recorded the first podcast.
The day after we uploaded the first podcast, or the second.
I'm sorry.
Second podcast.
It's June 6th as we record this.
Yeah. We're gonna do like a bunch in succession.
Gonna record. Yeah. We're probably gonna record one today, one tomorrow, one the next day. We're gonna do a bunch of shit. Tomorrow, though, I just remembered. Tomorrow, as a heads up, neither of us are religious, but there's this like VR chat church that we found.
Oh yeah, we're going to VR chat church.
If you don't know, Kaylin has a sound effect for.
I have a bunch of sound effects, and I didn't use them last time because I forgot.
One day she was just like, a clown horn, and the rest was history.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have the same sound effect. Let me put that on my soundboard. If you don't know, we have soundboards.
Yeah.
We abuse them. Everybody
Absolutely.
in our group hates them. Yeah, so now I can make a really stupid joke like hey Kaylin.
What's up, Kyle?
What's
Thank you, Kyle.
I couldn't think of a joke in time, so I panicked and just did it.
The panic honk.
Yeah, that's what clowns do when they don't know if a joke landed. They're just like, "Hey kids, what are cattle called? What are cattle covered in mold called in Russia? Moss cows."
I like to imagine that there's a clown out there that's like really like insensitive, and he's like, gender equality, who needs it, am I right?
And it's like a room full of like women and completely can't read the room.
Literally the worst clown on earth.
Racist joke, and it's just like
he's a racist, homophobic, sexist clown.
Clown frown.
I'm putting the title up. That's my trademark. I'm making that a thing.
Clown frown.
The insensitive clown.
Clown frown, the insensitive clown.
God.
Oh my God, he would need to be played by Clancy Brown.
Oh, another thing that I realized after going through the podcast, the second episode, like 7 times, is that I say God a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like my natural word to reaction for reactions.
God and yeah are like your default go-to responses. Just like there it is again. Just like mine is, like when I laugh at something and I'll follow up with like, but yeah. So.
Yeah, you do say, but yeah. So. I've noticed that a lot.
I don't know why I say it so often, but it's what I do. Just like I say like a lot.
Yeah, we also say like, a lot.
Yeah.
That's our brain
working. It's just what I do. I did it right there by accident. By the way, if I sound different, at all, it's because last recording, if you couldn't tell, my audio was kind of fucked there.
Yeah.
Because I have this giant fan running at all times to keep my computer from overheating, and I always record really quietly. I've done it for maybe the past 6 months because it makes balancing audio so much easier. And so I've been doing that, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it was really loud if you couldn't tell, and really iffy sound removal.
Yeah.
So because there's sound removal on Audacity, which is great. Only problem is it takes fucking forever to work.
Yeah, and especially since our recordings are like an hour, 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it's definitely like a big problem. So we just did that, and it didn't work. So what we're doing instead is we're using voice mod, or at least I'm using voice mod to suppress all.
I also use voice mod to mainly because if you my microphone is you can hear like a static in my microphone when I'm talking.
You can very vaguely hear it now.
Yeah.
When she talks.
So I usually use it. I like voice mod because it like when it's hearing that nothing's happening, it will just like turn off my microphone basically.
Yeah.
So it's very useful.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be getting my computer upgraded, hopefully in the next coming weeks. So I'll be able to not have this giant 2.5 foot tall fan running at all times.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's because like, imagine living with a fan the size of like a toddler, and it's just running at all times.
If it's the size of a toddler, I want to fucking kick
I want to kick all things small.
Listen, I don't know why, but like the dark side of my brain just wants to kick every toddler into the atmosphere.
Punt children.
That might be because I watch too much fucking South Park.
Kick the baby.
Kick the baby.
Hey, eggs, me, Jared Cartner. I want you to kick the baby.
I can't do an art.
That's awful, Kyle.
You can do Elmo.
Hey,
Oh, please.
everybody! Please, kick your nearest toddler into the sun! Yay!
Thank you,
Elmo,
Kyle.
you can't just say that.
I'm going to, motherfucker!
Elmo.
Elmo! Oh my god, he would never swear. I'm shaking
Elmo.
and crying.
Now I'm never gonna get picked up by Sesame Street.
Nope.
But something I thought we should maybe do, not as well. Okay, I don't think it should be like a section thing. I just feel like it's something we should discuss more on the podcast. We should discuss more movies because when I was watching the podcast over, I was absolutely like, this is actually really interesting. Like
Yeah.
re-listening to our conversations about movies.
I feel like movies are like, for us, I feel like movies are like a towards the end of the podcast discussion.
I feel like it would either be towards the end.
I feel like
or,
the beginning is like the start is like us talking
or
about
finding our
stuff.
footing.
Middle is like a personal story. There's like a halftime that's just like really stupid, and then there's like movie, TV show talk.
Okay. So I swear to God, podcasts don't feel like the kind of thing you should be paying $10 a month to.
I mean,
Like, am I crazy there? I mean, if we're uploading more regularly.
yeah, if we're uploading more regularly, and especially because I personally like to listen back to these podcasts, because I just want to make sure
Yeah, it's
I didn't.
good background.
Yeah, it's really good background noise. But hearing myself is really weird. I especially realized when I listen back to this is that, like, the beginning parts, like, it's always just feels like you talking and me responding. So, I want to talk. I brought this up yesterday that I wanted to tell you, but I wanted to share it on the podcast. I want to get into fencing.
Oh my God, fencing seems. Okay, I know somebody who fences. Well, like, I don't know if he still fences, but he used to.
Yeah.
And that absolutely feels like something. Like, that seems interesting to get into. You should.
Yeah.
should try it.
The main reason why I want to get into like fencing, or like, you know how some people just like wear just pure like full just like armor, just go out and beat each other with swords. I want to do that.
I want to go outside and defeat nature.
Yes, I want to murder. I kill.
Kill
and I feel
murder.
like fencing's really fun. I think it's because I was watching that video. You remember the video of the guy and he gets the fucking really clean bonk on the other guy's helmet? I want to do something like that. Yeah.
Taco Bell dong.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, according to this website, letters are invalid characters. What's
What do
your
you mean?
favorite? What's your lucky number, Kaylin?
My lucky number.
Yeah.
I can actually. I have a superstition actually. I can never
What is
say
it?
my lucky number. The last time I told somebody
valid.
my lucky number, I haven't heard from them since.
Okay, I'll just go with my lucky number. 48.
Go with your lucky number.
And now I'm never gonna hear from you.
That is actually a superstition of mine. It's really stupid.
Have you told it to like 3 people and they've just all vanished? Off the
Well, they
face
haven't
of
like
the earth?
vanished on the face. They all stopped talking to me. So I was just like, okay.
Jesus. But yeah, no, I guess it's gonna be our new RSS feed address is https://rss.com/podcast/podcast/48.
40.
Apparently,
48.
is nothing easy can't be used.
Hmm. We should do
But
is
yeah,
nothing
so-
easy in binary.
You fucking it's gonna be long, but you know what? I don't.
It's
care.
gonna be really long.
But yeah, no, you should absolutely try. You should absolutely try.
I want to get into it mainly because I've been to like my school had a bunch of like well that's a lie. I think they had like one. They had like one. But it just seems fun because like it doesn't look mainly because I don't know. I've always wanted to get into doing like how to learn how to properly handle a sword. I don't know if that's like that sounds like psychotic. Or I don't know it's because I've been
No,
playing
that's
too
an
much.
entirely valid fear. Like,
Yeah.
like imagine just like casually. Hey guys, I got a sword. Fling, 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 fling.
But like I feel the people that can like handle their swords like badassly. That's not a word.
Badass.
I feel like
Astley.
they can. I feel like they can really like. Kyle, you cannot play Minecraft. I'm gonna like lose my shit and not be able to focus.
Kaylin, we made it like we both said like we should like do things while we do the podcast. And
Okay, you know what? If you're doing something while you do the podcast, give me a second.
Okay. Swear to God, you're gonna open up Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I completely fucking called you out there, didn't I? I swear to God, if you open Fire Emblem, I'm going to murder you systematically. Okay, everybody, Kaylin is gone.
Yeah,
Hey there,
I've
so-
completely disappeared off the face of the planet.
Did you get a Fire Emblem?
I mean, I don't know. It could be.
Good at Fire.
Wait, why does Fire Emblem have an update?
Oh my God, Kaylin.
I was actually gonna do some Animal Crossing.
Wow, how could you?
I know, it's
Um,
crazy. So like people that can like, especially because they do it one-handed, like that shit looks so clean. And it's
Yeah.
just like, fencing always seemed stupid to me as a kid because it was just like, why are these people poking each other with fucking metal rods? And now I'm
Why
like
are you
older.
stabbing each other.
Now I'm like older, and I'm like, man, I really want to do fencing.
It's because it seems so cool.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's interesting to watch too, because you're just watching 2 people stab each other professionally.
Also, the suits. I don't know if the suits look comfortable, but they look like they'd get really sweaty after a while.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I was a visitor
yeah,
at my
no.
campsite.
Yo, who is it? Is it
See,
Bob?
Yo, what if it's a Raymond?
Is Bob's the funny meme cat, right?
Yeah, Bob's the meme cat.
Yeah, funny meme cat.
I want to see
Yeah,
how
no,
Pietro's
fencing's
doing.
always seemed like that kind of shit where it's like you watch it and it's just like, yo, those people are probably gonna get fucking eradicated off the face of the earth.
I feel like people who
Fine.
start doing fencing like go into like actually becoming like masters
Party acrobat.
fucking swordsmen.
I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like the kind of thing where like people
It does.
like learn through that.
I gotta see what-
people-
Okay, let's see who's in my campsite. This is a live reaction to see who's in my fucking campsite. It's Ellie from The Last of Us. She's actually cute.
Yo, you hitting on it like a cat?
She's a cow, actually. No, she's not. She's an
Yo,
elephant.
you hitting
She's an
on a
elephant.
cow? Yo, you hitting on an elephant? It's always been interesting, the idea of, like, because it's basically modern day knights. It's basically modern day knights.
Yeah.
And, I've always liked, like, I think more so if I had to pick one genre. If I had to pick one era of, how do I describe it? If I had to describe one genre of era of ooh, I'm having a stroke. If I had to pick one era of the world, I would probably say is my favorite in terms of like things going on. Pirates and then medieval.
Mine would be ancient Egypt, actually.
Ancient Egypt that's valid. Ancient Egypt was
Because
fucking rad.
Ancient Egypt is rad, and I know how to perform mummification. Like, I remember it.
I have performed several
I have performed several on unwilling subjects.
Galen, you can't just commit mummifications on people who don't ask for it, Galen.
I mean,
You're gonna
that's
get
true.
in trouble.
Trouble with the FBI. Get on their watch list.
Mummificate, like, ancient Egypt is such a weird case because, like, it's hella interesting to learn about, but, like, you have to imagine it was hell living back then.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that meme of, what was it? It was like it was like a little girl, and she was like, oh, I wish I lived in the 1800s, and then, like, it's a flash, it's like a and then it's just her, like, holding a dead child, and it's just like, my children are dying of polio, and also I can't vote! I don't know why. Whenever I think of, like, classic, like, oh, I would be good in this era, I always think about shit like that, of, like, the shit that went on back then, and how people are always just like, it'd be rad.
I think if God ever decided to throw me into any timeline, it would be like the cyberpunk timeline. I think I'd be president. That's just
the lesbian era.
the lesbian dynasty.
The lesbian dynasty. Yo, random question. Do you have that one person you follow because it's just like you enjoy their content, but every time you see them stream, you're just like, I don't really want to watch.
No, because I don't follow any. I mean, most of the people that I follow are like people that like will never talk to me in a million eons, or
I'm talking
people
like
that
people
like
you like content you watch, not like
oh, like, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, there's this one anime. I'm not gonna name drop. I don't want to start any internet drama. There's this one artist that I follow, and she streams all the time, but I don't think I've joined a single.
I think I know who you're talking about.
But does it start with an S?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then it probably is.
And it's not that like you're like inclined to.
Yeah, I think it was just like I followed her because it's just like, hell, it's they make good content, and then every time they stream, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm doing something.
Yeah, most of the people on Twitter that I follow are cryptids. This is a call out to everybody that I follow on Twitter.
Every single human that I've ever interacted with.
I think, personally, that I'm gonna because listen, I've done a lot of things. Like, I've done a shit ton of things. I've attempted a lot of things. I did horseback riding for a while. That was fun. No, it wasn't. The fencing just seems like something that I'd like to do because I like winning. I'm gonna be honest. I like being the winning party in any situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have cat-like reflexes enough. Reflexes enough to fucking to do fencing. So after quarantine is over, it is my promise that I will try to get into fencing, and then I will keep updated later episodes if I drop out or not.
All right.
That's a promise to everybody listening. And
Um,
if in a few months when quarantine's over, or I guess by next year when quarantine's over, I'm not in fencing, scream at me on Twitter.
At Kalen YGO.
I need to. I also want photo proof that I'm fencing. I want a video of me fencing.
Like violently, just like ting ting ting.
And
ting,
instead
ting.
of me fencing, it's just me putting up a fence. It's like, hey, I did it, guys.
One does. So I never said how I would get into fencing.
So I never said which fencing.
Yeah, no, that seems interesting though. Like getting into that
Yeah.
stuff.
I also wanted to get into beekeeping for the longest time.
Beekeeping might be a little odder.
Well, yeah, beekeeping is odd. Here's the thing, right? Beekeeping is definitely odd, but like, God, this fucking the satisfaction that you would get from like pulling out a thing of honey, and like that, like it's like this is my honey. I made it with my wits and my bee friends. Like that, I feel like that would be cool. But at the same time, I'm also like deathly afraid of bees.
I mean, it's an entirely valid thing.
Well, I'm not like deathly afraid. It's not like a phobia, but I'm uncomfortable around a bee. Like if there's a fucking bee, there was a wasp in my room the other day, and I literally just I left the room. I kept the door open, and it left. I don't know where it went. I think doing any hobby where you can like set a goal. You set a goal and then you achieve the goal by a certain time. You'll feel good. I feel like that's the same thing with like people who are trying to get into doing drawing and stuff. I feel like that's like, cause like your art compared to when you started to when like up to now is probably a lot different. I'm sure you can attest to that, Kyle.
Yeah. I think the biggest hurdle I've ever had to jump over, and I still have yet to jump over it, is I want to get into game development. Okay. You already know about the game I want to make. For anyone who's not in the loop, I want to make this game that's if anybody's played the game Wario World, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like a 3D beat 'em up where literally all you're focused on is destroying things and getting things. That's it. There's no like underlying there's no combos you need to remember. There's no like over the top moves you need to know. The craziest a move gets is jump in the air and press B, or jump in the air and press R, hold down the B button, or spin the control stick. Those are the craziest it gets, and I find that fun. The Wario World is simple, run and punch, and that's why I love it. And I've wanted to make a game like that. I've wanted to make like a spiritual successor with one of my own characters. And the main thing I need to figure out is how to actually, do games.
I actually might have a website for you.
Is it Fiverr?
It's not Fiverr. But I'll send it to you after we're done recording.
Okay.
Why'd you turn into the Tasmanian devil?
I've had this idea since May of 2018, and I've been expanding upon it for a while. For the most part, it's been a lot of. It was going to be originally a mix of Mario 64 and Wario World, but I have since just simplified it to just being a spiritual successor to Wario World.
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of just creating a game that I would just sit down and be like, this is what I want to do. This is what I like to play. And, like, that's, in the grand scheme of things, you're making a game for yourself.
Yeah.
That's how shit like that works. And I've been, for a really long time, I've been kind of trying to push making things that I would want to see. And a lot of the time, like, especially you can see in my content, the kind of shit that I upload is the humor I have. Incredibly stupid humor that wouldn't make anybody else laugh except for me.
Yeah.
That's the shit I make. And I want to do that too, but like expand what I do it with. So I want to do that with games. I want to do that with music. I want to do a bunch of shit. But right now I'm limited to animation and humor.
Yeah. I think game development isn't really for. I feel like people who are like indie devs, they don't really make games for people. They make games to please themselves. I feel like that's like they would never release a game that they're not pleased with.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you just wouldn't do that. I guess that works for just any type of media that you create. Like there's stuff that I do that I make and I'm not satisfied with it, and so I don't post it.
Oh yeah, I
have a whole back folder of memes that I've made and I've just never posted on Twitter.
Because when you're making content, it really does boil down to what you want to see. And if you can't sit there and say to yourself, I like this. This is I've worked on this. I've put my heart into this. Everything about this I like.
Yeah.
If you're not going to feel like people deserve to see that, if you're not happy with it.
I feel like last time we recorded, I like talked all my grievances out, especially about those fucking plushies. So like,
yeah, those plushies fucking drove you mad, dude.
Yes, yes, they still do.
It's insane.
I'm waiting for them to actually start shipping.
Yeah. I actually I didn't bring it up specifically, but something that's been driving me crazy. I kind of brought up gorillas last episode. And what drives me. Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, something weird went wrong. So something that I bought in March was supposed to come out May 1st, and it didn't come out. So, when I was like, what's going on? I went and checked, and it said it was going to release May 29th instead of. I feel like a lot of this has been stuttering.
Yes, I feel like this whole recording has been very stuttery.
What was I saying before I got distracted?
Who knows?
Fuck. No. Let me try and.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. How you doing? No, what were we talking about?
Welcome back to Is Nothing Easy.
The only podcast.
The only podcast.
Okay, so
we should talk about that. Where the fuck did that come from?
the only podcast?
Yeah, like where did this come from?
I think it was just
Because our old tagline used to be the only podcast where somebody thought to themselves, let's put two idiots in a call and see what they can produce.
It was okay, no. We had some hilarious open liner, and I forgot it. And I stuttered, and I was just like, the only hey everybody, welcome to Is Nothing Easy, a podcast where two idiots can be miles and miles apart and still be stupid together. And looking back, it's like, that was like the worst way I could.
I did think I think the main reason why we started this podcast is because you said something, and I was like, that could be used as like a podcast opener. And history was solved.
was born.
Yeah.
The reason the only podcast was because I was trying to come up with something funny, and I froze up, and I thought that would be a good, because it was probably going to be something along the lines of like the only podcast where a lesbian and a straight person get together or something like that.
Yeah.
I could have had something like that, but my brain paused. And
Yeah.
I was like, but then I realized I paused at the only podcast, and I was just like, that's it. I did it.
Yeah.
So
For
you can thank my
for recollection saves, we are not the only podcast. I mean,
No. Am I just learning this?
dude, I had to tell you at some point. I mean,
I had to break the veil. Santa's not real. Santa's not real!
God,
Sorry if there's anybody watching who didn't know Santa wasn't real.
I'm pretty sure at this point it's 2020. If you're watching this if you're watching this and you think Santa is real, first of all, you shouldn't be watching this.
It's 2020. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, bitches. The world started when I was born. That's how it works. Yeah, if it's 2020, if it's 2020 and you
If you're
still think
under the age
if you're watching this
13
and
in
you're under
2020,
if you're under the age of literally like 15, no, not even. Probably just like 13, yeah.
I remember when I was,
13-year-olds,
like,
get outta here.
16. I remember when I was 16.
The adults are talking.
My mother, like, I don't want to say guilted me. She didn't guilt me. My mother was like, yeah. So she was talking about something, and I was just, I was like 15. I'm
Yeah.
a fucking, yeah, you know how it, yeah, I know how the world works. I was like, oh, by the way, don't worry. I know Santa's not real. I'm not gonna say anything to my
Okay.
brother. And she was like, oh, so I mean, maybe Santa's not gonna bring you any presents this year. And I was just like, did I say I meant the Easter Bunny? I know he's not real. I know he didn't actually get me that copy of the Mario show.
Here's a funny story about how me finding out. I knew that like Santa wasn't real. Like I was like, yeah, I know it, and I was pretty like swag about it. And then when I finally approached my parents, I was like, Mom, Dad, is Santa really real? And they're like, no, Kaylin, it's me and your father. And I started breaking out crying, even though I knew it already. Like I knew it. I don't know why I cried. Because I felt betrayed that they lied to me all these years.
How could
Like,
you,
God,
Mom?
we live in a society where lying to your children is deemed okay. I mean,
How the fuck could they?
about
How could
an
they do this
existence
to
of
me?
like, about the existence of Santa Claus,
Santa Claus. Yes.
the Tooth Fairy, and what, the Easter Bunny. Anybody else I'm missing? Also, the monster under your bed. That's
Oh,
it.
the monster under your bed is absolutely.
Yeah, monster under your bed is actually real. Actually, I played a chess game with the monster on my bed yesterday. He was pretty good. He's getting better.
I'm doing this thing where I'm appearing up there, and then he's appearing down there, and I'm like, ha, ho, ha, ho, ha, and
No, we literally
it's
just like
it's
played over the side of the bed. Like I put a chessboard down at the side of the bed.
How did you play chess? You can't play chess.
I was just like checkmate, and he was just like,
And he was just like, you bitch. I don't know when exactly I figured out everything was fake.
when did you figure out the world was a simulation?
When did you enter the Matrix?
Yesterday.
I plugged myself in.
That's why I play VR chat. It's a good joke.
Because I like it being a simulation inside a simulation.
I like imagining that I'm anime characters in VR chat. I was gonna say her name, but I think if I can go a podcast without saying her name.
You've
I said it last time. I need to
you somehow said it the first episode before the game was even out.
It was in there. You just couldn't hear it.
You just have to stitch them together.
Yeah.
Together the audio.
The I think the main reason why like you grow up and you're just like your brain automatically goes to like, oh yeah, Santa Claus isn't real. I think it's because you get to a point where you're like, you consider yourself at least not dumb. You know?
Yeah, no, that's the fallacy of like every fucking every child, like every.
That's the
15-year-old,
it's
you're
the
just
same
like, "I'm
thing for
smart
like
enough to know
it's the
better."
same thing for like superstitions. Like, you know, if you cross your eyes too hard, they'll get stuck like that. Like, no, they won't.
Yeah, that's another lie.
That is a lie. They just didn't want me doing that.
They didn't want me making silly faces. Well, joke's on you, Mom. I make them.
Joke's
for a
on you.
living now.
Joke's on you. I'm an adult. I make silly faces for a living.
Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming.
Bet you didn't see that one. Now that we're talking about things that are like fake or not, can I bring up such a weird theory that I held on for like the longest time that I still hold on to?
What is
Okay.
it?
First of all, I believe.
Yeah, first off, my parents are trying to kill me.
First off, I believe that not everybody can see the same colors. Here's my.
Oh my God! Absolutely, I believe that too.
Yeah, I feel like everybody sees colors differently. I feel like.
I think it's like because you're raised
Yeah.
learning colors like by name rather than by visual. So, actually, that's not even because. Okay, when you see a color, you're told like this is red. So
Yeah.
if somebody else saw green and was told this is red,
Yeah.
then they're gonna grow up learning that's red.
Yeah.
And if they see that color, like to us it would be green, but to us it's the green, but to them it's red.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think I was just like tired, probably a little bit high.
How were you high?
I was in an airplane. Is that a good joke?
I'm waiting for it.
Oh.
I like how we both had to do it because we weren't confident in each other doing it.
It wasn't that funny enough for me to do it, but no, but I was like thinking to myself, I was like, man, and you think to yourself, what if I'm the one that sees colors like perfectly?
Oh, absolutely.
Like colors for me,
No.
they look perfect. Like there's nothing wrong about colors for me, but I feel like I imagine there's like somebody
One
out
person
there,
who like sees better, and you're just like, you bitch.
yeah, that sees just like. Imagine being
See,
able to
that's why
see
I'm
such like
jealous
more
of-
colors than what we can actually see.
Well, that's why I'm jealous of the what are they called? Mantis shrimp. That's why I'm jealous of the mantis shrimp. Apparently, they can see more colors than we can,
Yeah.
and that makes me so angry. Like there are probably so many things that are other colors that we don't know about.
There are a lot. I've held on to this theory for like the longest time. Every time I bring it up, everyone's always like, "Yeah, I also agree that it's probably really
Yeah, I've thought
stupid."
about it so many fucking times.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with people, and they're always like, "Kyle, you sound insane," and I'm just like, "But if you grow up learning green is red, you're gonna call green red."
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're just like, God, it's so weird to think about because like somebody could see white as like completely black and think that
Yeah,
was
and they'll
white.
never know.
And they'll never know, and they'll always think that that's just a natural. But at the same time, we do know the difference between dark and light. No, we don't
Well, the thing
actually.
is,
We could also be lied about that too.
'Cause
What's dark and what's
people see
light.
If people see colors reversed, they'll learn that white is dark and black is light.
Yeah,
So
That's-
they'll walk into a pit. To them, they'll walk into a pitch black room and be like, "This is so fucking bright."
that's fucking insane.
They'll go like, "I'm going blind." Like, who knows? That's the thing that's crazy. We can't know because we can never perfectly see somebody else's point of view.
Yeah.
Gonna
That's interesting.
Absolutely mental thinking about it.
That's interesting. It's probably one of those things that like we're probably overthinking it.
Oh, absolutely, we are.
I definitely know that colorblind people exist. I mean, if you're
No.
colorblind, you kind of got the short end of the stick. Because colors are
We know
fucking
the
bad
person
at
who made the fucking drawing
Yeah.
you're looking at right now
is colorblind. He's not like
Um,
severely colorblind though.
Well, yeah, I mean he kind of thought.
What does he mix up again? He mixes up his like
Like blue and purple and like orange and something.
orange and
Apparently
yellow,
when he
maybe.
was young, when he was younger, he used to draw Wario a completely different color. Either Wario or Mario, I can't remember which. But it's like it's interesting to like because like when you're colorblind too. Imagine learning that. Imagine just like learning one day. Holy shit! I've been seeing colors wrong. I've been seeing wrong. It's like that's such like a scary thought.
Imagine somebody telling you that you literally like the world that you're looking at isn't what it actually is. Like,
you know what I've always thought is the scariest feeling? Probably?
What?
Growing up and like being deaf or something.
Yeah.
And never knowing you're deaf until somebody points it out. And it's just like there's an entirely other sense. Like imagine
like not knowing what hearing is,
Yeah, like
not understanding the concept
like
of it.
there was this thing that I saw that like somebody who was born deaf got like hearing aids.
Yeah.
And they kept describing things that they saw, and they started like or things that they heard, and they started crying at the fact that somebody had a pond behind their house.
What the
Like
hell?
shit like that is so fucking weird. Like because like we're lucky in the fact that we were born with our senses.
Yeah.
Like that's weird just saying that we're lucky for having the things like every
that all
human should have.
humans should have.
Yeah. But like you're told like not everyone has this, and you can't imagine a world without it.
It's really weird to think that there are definitely people out there that don't understand the concept of like sight. Like there's people that can't smell anything. Like those, like imagine being that person. Imagine trying to explain somebody to somebody who can't smell what it smells like.
But then again, I think smell is one of those weird things. I know it sounds weird, but like I've always described smelling as just tasting through your nose.
Yeah.
Because like when you smell, if something tastes bad, you're gonna smell it first.
Yeah.
I think there have been very few things, like food-wise, there have been very few things that smell delicious, but like taste atrocious.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's like when I'm sitting there and it's just like food. Like if I sit there and I smell it and I'm like, ugh, then I'm not gonna be able to eat it.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like food tastes like 50% smell.
It's definitely God, that's such a scary thought. It's just somebody coming up to you at one point and telling you that like what you're
Doing
like
you're
telling you
doing
something that you
wrong.
didn't realize existed your entire life, but you just can't know that it's there. Like that's just a scary. I definitely have a fear of going deaf. That's like my main fear.
Oh, as a voice actor, that's
Yeah.
a huge fucking
I have a fear of going deaf and going blind. Those are my like main two fears. Like I could be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I don't care. Don't take away my eyesight and my
okay.
ears. You can
I
mute
feel
me.
like
I don't
I-
care.
That would be my biggest fear, not being able to talk. Because I think if you can't tell, me talking as much as I do, generally, I just talk because it's relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think that's why I like being a voice actor. I just like being able to just like something's in my brain, and it's out. It's out there, and I'm not thinking it anymore. It's a nice way to relax for me.
Also, another reason why I'd fear like going deaf or going blind is because you wouldn't be able to experience like video games or like music anymore.
Oh my god, the idea of not being able to hear music anymore is fucking horrible.
Yeah. Like, and imagine
never
imagine having something stuck in your head and waking up the next day and never being able to hear ever again, and you'll never be able to re-listen to it because you can't hear anything. Like, imagine that. That would be like my biggest fear.
God, you know what's weird? Okay. Take this from somebody who almost has an entire day's worth of music in his playlist. 349 songs in my playlist. I wasn't a music person until I was maybe 16.
Yeah.
17, I'm sorry. I got into music because of this playlist.
Yeah.
Started with Gold Lion, and then I just started adding a bunch. Because Gold Lion was actually added because I was listening to it at the time I made the playlist. I was listening to the G mix at the time. I think it was the first G mix. It was Murdoch's G mix, and I was listening to Gold Lion and like, this is good. And then I was thinking I should make a playlist. That, Gold Lion, Highway Under Construction, Listen to Me, The Bidding, Vivian. Actually, Listen to Me was a weird case because I listened to Listen to Me on the bus, and I spent like 3 hours. I listened to just straight 3 hours trying to find that song before I added it to my playlist, and it's the third song on my playlist. And then The Bidding, Vivian, To Binge, Don't You Want Me, all of these, until, what, like 20 songs in maybe, is when I finally stopped adding music.
Yeah.
Then I started adding other ones, and it's been 3 years. And now I have shit. Crazy My Beat, Bloody Stream, Rocket Jump Waltz, It's Been So Long, Drunken Pipe Bomb, Animal Spirits. All bangers. All bangers.
Yeah.
My playlist, don't miss! Sorry, I had to throw out.
My playlist is a
Child.
consistency of 505 songs, and it's 30 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
What would you say? You know, here's a weird question.
So.
I don't know why I thought about this, but it's something I've been thinking about. Would you say your favorite song and your favorite genre are the same? So, like, would you say your favorite song is your favorite genre?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what are they? Like, just discuss.
It would be "Mama" by My Chemical Romance. That's like my favorite song, and then I guess you could. I think it's punk rock.
I just call it.
Let me call it. Oh, they're just a rock band. Okay. Rock band.
Yeah. I mean that's valid. That's valid. I don't know. Like, I'm having trouble picking my favorite song. Which is weird. I for maybe 6 months. No, I'd say maybe like a year. My favorite song was, well, okay, for a year before that, or maybe a year, 2 years maybe, my favorite song before my current favorite song was "Walk This Way" by Aerosmith. And then it became "Ooh La La" by The Faces. Which is a lot more obscure, but it's so relaxing. I wish that I knew what I know now. It's just a nice acoustic guitar song it's their most popular song, but not a lot of people know it.
Yeah.
And I adore it. It's such a fucking nice song. But I don't know if it's my favorite now, because I think it might be "Dude Looks Like a Lady." Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about that song for the past 2 weeks. Which, side note, by the way, Kalen was here for it. We were listening to "Dude Looks Like a Lady" with a friend of ours, and he brought up, like, this song is oddly problematic.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is, isn't it? So I looked it up to see if it was about what we thought it was about. It's not about. It's not
wasn't at all.
problematic. It's literally about the lead singer, Steven Tyler, going to a bar, and he saw somebody with long hair from the back, and he was just like, "Ooh, that's a pretty lady. I'm gonna go up and hit on her." He walked up to her, and she turned around, and it was the lead singer of Motley Crue. And it's so funny to me that what might be my favorite song right now literally came from Steven Tyler walking up to somebody and just thinking like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit on this lady," and it was just a fucking dude. So it's a dude who looks like a lady.
Again, I love the fact that, like, we were all just like, man, what if this song's like really problematic? And it was like, no, it's not at all. It's just somebody had long hair. You thought it was a girl.
Yeah, it's
On the back.
Oh.
It's a very
then
good
again,
song.
Aerosmith's songs, I don't think, from what I've heard at least, I don't think I've heard a single bad Aerosmith song.
No.
Which is weird, because I've heard bad Gorillaz songs, and Gorillaz is like absolute, like if I had to pick a band, in my opinion, that perfectly encapsulates my taste in music, it's Gorillaz.
Yeah.
But I've heard songs from Gorillaz that I absolutely fucking hate.
Yeah.
And hell, they have an entire album that I don't like. It has good songs, but it's an entire album I don't like.
Yeah.
But Aerosmith is just
Aerosmith has just like I think it's their I think it's their lead singer. I think it's just the way he sings is so fucking
oh my god, absolutely.
is so
And
great.
Steven Tyler's voice is so iconic.
It gives me the same vibes as like Freddie Mercury, you know?
Oh my god.
The
I
way
can
Freddie
absolutely-
Mercury's song was
It's like Freddie Mercury, but less beautiful, more.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, Freddie Mercury could fucking sing. Like
Freddie Mercury-
he
Like, oh my god.
I don't think we'll ever get somebody like him again. He
Oh,
could
absolutely.
fucking sing.
We can get close, but we can't.
Yeah. We get impersonators and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's also just his personality. He was
Yeah.
so he was so passionate about what he did that like I don't think we'll ever be able to recreate that like genuine like passion for what he did.
Mhm.
I mean like we can get people who are like somewhat close.
Yeah.
I think this might be an unpopular opinion, but like somebody like Brendan Urie, like he can absolutely get the same like what's the word I'm looking
Feel.
for? Like not feel like he gets the same like range, same tone
Yeah.
as like because I think people have actually compared it, and his range, his vocal capabilities are equal to that of Freddie Mercury.
It's
But it's just about like how like it's his personality. Freddie Mercury was one of those people that like felt untouchable.
it's interesting to me that like everybody sings differently. Like
Oh yeah, that's a
like
weird-
you can tell a majority of the time at least you can tell like if a song turns on and you know the you know the artist you know the song you can tell like who the artist is just by like I can tell it's a fucking Queen song if because I can understand when it's Freddie Mercury singing. Like I don't even have to
Yeah.
know the Queen song to know that it's Freddie Mercury.
It's weird to think. Again, my favorite band, Gorillaz. A lot of people have said that Gorillaz, they don't classify it as a Damon Albarn band because there's like an audible difference between when he sings in Gorillaz and when he sings in any other band.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that's Damon Albarn.
And especially when like
but you can't say that's Blur.
especially when a band replaces their lead singer and then you have
Oh
two
my
different
God.
albums that have different singers.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
Have you heard AC/DC before Back in Black?
Yeah.
It's weird
Yeah.
because you're so used to hearing them with this like iconic sound, this iconic tone. You hear it differently, and it's just like you're not the JoJo villain AC/DC.
Or especially when like a band tries or like a band or a solo singer tries to do a style that's like completely out of their range. It's always so weird to listen to. At least for me.
Music is one of those weird things that like,
Music is very, very interesting.
I think music is easily, in my opinion, the like best what's the word I'm looking for? It's the best music or best art medium to
Mhm.
experiment in.
Yeah.
Because and I think another good example, I know I bring them up so often, but I think Kaylin can agree with me on this. One of the best examples is Gorillaz. Every album they do something new. They try something else. What they're
Gorillaz
doing
is
right now is literally an episodic album. that
Yeah.
They release a song once a month
Yeah.
with like a music video for each, and that's so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And there are like genres from like movies that make their way into bands like Flight of the Conchords or Ninja Sex Party being fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Being comedy. I don't know why I forgot comedy. It's like one of my default words. But yeah, no, like them being comedy or like Proto Men being like dramas. You know,
Mhm.
it's weird that I've probably said it's weird so many times this podcast.
Yeah.
But it's odd to think that you can experiment with this so often and get these unique sounds that nobody's attempted before.
Yeah. It music is always music. Well, we're gonna get to the point. I feel like, at least not in my lifetime, we're gonna get to the point where like music's gonna be hard to do because there's gonna be so much of it.
Oh yeah. I feel like okay. I feel like he's not gonna be like it's not gonna be. Did I just? He's not gonna be. It's not gonna be crazy to like. I think we're gonna hear it and we're gonna go like, yeah, this is new stuff. But I don't think we're ever gonna run out of music.
I feel like
might.
it's weird to think that in like 20 or so years we're also gonna have a new style of music.
Oh my god, that's weird too. We didn't have mumble rap.
Yeah,
however
we
long
did
ago.
not
Then
have
again,
mumble rap.
Then again, how you know what's gonna be weird? It's gonna be weird hearing people pull up like songs from like 2019 nostalgically and say like this was the era of music.
Yeah, that's gonna make me
Like,
feel
'cause here-
old.
Because okay, here's the thing. I might just be an old spirit here. I think the reason rock and roll lives on for so long, people say that's the greatest generation of music, is because it's like everything had to be done uniquely. You needed to stand out from the crowd in order to like you can listen to like AC/DC and Aerosmith and you can be like, well, there are similarities here, but everything still sounds unique. You can't reuse the same drums. Like you can, but like it's not, then you're just kind of cheating that song. It's not gonna, like, you can use samples obviously, but I think you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, I get
samples
what you mean.
versus like repeating an entire thing. But nowadays, there's literally a joke, or at least an inside joke. I don't know if it's everywhere, but there's literally a joke about the trap beat. There's literally a beat that people use.
Yeah.
Like it's just like and it's like you hear it everywhere, and you hear everyone saying like this, and it doesn't sound the same as some people who had to sound unique.
I wonder if
like,
there
stand out.
were ever people in like the 80s that thought like the 80s music was like dumb.
Oh, absolutely.
So like we're
that
just
was
we're just
literally-
repeating history at this point.
Yeah, no. Because the thing was, it was literally, people are going to hate whatever is new.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that. Because the thing is, I should be saying, like, you kids today with your mumble rap, I used to listen to fucking Nickelback and Panic at the Disco, shit like that. No, I grew up with 80s music. I grew up with fucking Aerosmith and Allman Brothers. But no, like, it's always been a thing of, like, people hate. I mean, literally, We Don't Want to Take It. You already know the music video for We Don't Want to Take It,
Yeah.
right? Fucking, that literally starts with, like, you're always up there playing with your guitar. What do you want to do with your life? I want to rock. And then he literally beats up his dad because he hates rock and roll. So I think it's just like like, adults don't get it. It's like something that's going to last until the end.
It's definitely I don't know. It's weird to think that like so many things by the time that we're like full grown adults are gonna be different.
There's probably gonna be like an entirely new fucking wave of like fucking games too.
Yeah.
And movies. Like, I've discussed this before. I genuinely never thought at the point we are at now, I never thought we were gonna get to a point where we're never gonna get to a point where we're gonna get a good Joker movie. And I don't know how long I stuttered. If it was a really like uncomfortably long time, Kayla, just edit that out. But I genuinely never thought we were gonna get a good Joker movie. And cut to 2019, we get this fucking like masterclass of a film that like a lot of people hate it. I can understand why people hate it. At a certain point, sometimes I feel like people are nitpicking, but for the most part, I get why people hate it. But I think it was great. Cause I prefer goofy Joker, but I think serious Joker is that kind of, it's interesting to read about and listen and watch. So it's weird to think by like fucking 2040, we might have, because we're gonna get a sequel for that.
Yeah.
We might have an entirely new fucking wave of good, like, because I think that started a wave of like darker comic book movies. There were already dark comic book movies, but like ones that ground themselves in reality and like aren't like, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, when I was like 19, I killed a dog. Like shit where it's like villains are suffering with mental health. People are rightfully like
it's
pissed
becoming
off
more
like,
and more realistic.
Yeah, people like it's getting
It's
to the
giving
point where
it's giving characters like a humanity.
yeah, exactly. Because like, and especially too like giving new takes on characters. Because the Joker has been done literally since the 40s.
Mhm.
He's been fleshed out so many different times. It's refreshing to see this take on him that like rather than it being like I'm an enigma. Nobody knows my backstory, you know? Because that's the entire point of Joker. We don't know his backstory, except for the Killing Joke, which I still state is the best Joker backstory. But like I like the idea of like it's like somebody struggling with mental health. Like his laugh isn't like a wanted thing. It's a condition that he's born with. He lives with. I like that idea, and apparently we're going to be getting more things with that. They didn't confirm what other movies we're getting in this, but they're calling it the DC Dark Universe.
Yeah.
Which I don't want them to make it a universe. I feel like it's stupid, but it's DC. They're going to want money.
Well, if they make it a universe, because they probably want to separate it from like.
Oh yeah, they're separating it from.
I thought, I mean, just from what I remember, I thought that fucking Dark Knight was really dark for a DC movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that was the
'Cause you're so
turning
used
point.
Like you're used to shit like Superman Returns.
Yeah.
You're used to like 60s Batman. A
Yeah.
lot of people think about.
It's the same
when
thing
I
with
think
like
of Batman-
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. You're so used to like Maguire that when. Because here's the thing, I've always seen. That's why I think the Garfield era, besides it being bad series, that's why I think the Garfield era the Amazing Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
That's why I think they weren't good. They took themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
That's why my favorites are the MCU because it's goofy, silly.
They definitely found like a middle ground that like no other one
Oh, yeah.
could find. But like at the same time, the Tobey Maguire one has like a charm to it that you just can't
Oh, absolutely.
explain like
Love-
why you like it. Like everyone's just like, "Oh, why do you like it?" And it's just like, "I don't know. It's just
It's okay. Mark my words. I've said this before. It's because they're entertaining. They're not trying to tell some grand story. They're not trying to tug at your heartstrings. They want you to have a good time. It's Sam Raimi, the guy who made the Evil Dead movies.
yeah.
It's gonna be campy. That's why it's fun. Camp is fun.
Yeah.
Which is why fucking like Godzilla, the old 70s Godzilla movies are so fun to watch because they're campy as all hell.
Yeah.
Godzilla fucking reaches into like Godzilla fucking like aims his head at the ground, flies backwards. You know, camp is fun. That's why I've always enjoyed the Raimi Spider-Man film.
There's always like a definite like middle ground in media and like writing and stuff that like there's always going to be like the dark side of stuff, like the ones that like take itself seriously, and the more, you know, like carefree, and then there's always going to be the middle ground.
Yeah, that's why I think I've discussed this with you before. I think that was always a big problem I had with the Mario movie.
Mhm.
Because you think of Mario, you think of this bright, colorful, yippee, ha ha, I'm gonna go save the princess. You know, you think of that, but
Yeah.
like then they make a movie about it, it's a year after Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
It's a year after Tim. Why am I forgetting his name? Tim. Wait. Who directed? Nightmare Before Christmas?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Thank you. It was a year after Tim Burton's Batman. I think Tim Burton directed that. He definitely directed the next one. No, he did direct it. It was a year after Tim Burton's Batman came out. So clearly they were when they were making this movie, they wanted a darker tone. So they made this movie, and because it's Hollywood, scripts get around.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted to make this darker movie, this great epic, and they saw this world of mushrooms, and they think like that would make a good side. Because here's the thing, I think I've discussed this with you before. The Mario movie was going to be a fantasy film.
Yeah.
Which would have worked so much, because nowadays I don't think Mario would work with fantasy. I think it would just have to be general fiction. Because if you make it fantasy, then there are too many loose... Like, Zelda would be a fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's the weird thing. Mario doesn't have, like, a movie genre I can think of. Like, Zelda's fantasy, like, Metroid would be sci-fi. What would Mario be?
I feel like Mario
Like,
would be,
too-
like, silly.
Like, I could see comedy. I just feel like it's too grounded to be fantasy, but it's too silly to be sci-fi.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So it was going to be a fantasy film, which back in the 90s made perfect sense. Because all we knew was mushrooms and dinosaurs and princess, Like, that's all we knew. He fought a fucking, like, a giant dragon turtle back then.
Yeah.
There was no, like, characterization of this monster. He was just a bumbling, and occasionally he'd talk in the manual,
Yeah.
And they had so much shit planned out. It was gonna be great, and then they got handed over to this director couple, this director husband and wife, and they turned it into this action film. And I guess it's action, yeah. So they felt the need to make it dark, and because okay, I've stated this before. Remove Mario, and it's a good movie. It's a perfectly serviceable movie. I just hate it as a Mario movie because it has so many things going
It
for it.
in
that
and
are
of itself,
really
as a
cool.
movie, is good.
Yeah, but as a Mario movie, it is atrocious.
Yeah.
Because I like the concept of a split universe. I like the idea of dinosaurs still existing, and they live on another universe, and they live in a monarchical city. Monarchical.
I don't think that's the word.
City ruled under. They live in a city ruled under a monarch.
Mm-hmm.
Like shit's going crazy down there. They got dinosaur slaves. They need this this lady born of the dinosaur realm into the real world. Like they need her to come back. It's such an interesting plot line.
Yeah.
But it's not Mario. Mario is about saving a princess and from a dragon in a mushroom world. And then they turn it into this deep brooding. The most recent game, let me check really quickly. Mario movie release date was May 28th, and Mario World release date. Yeah, okay, so it was 93. Oh, it wasn't. Okay, no, never mind. So this was 3 years after. No, this was 4 years after Tim Burton's Batman. So it was definitely because they wanted to make something darker.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, one of the most recent releases was Super Mario World, which had Yoshi, which now I'm realizing was why Yoshi was in it. But yeah, no. You look at Yoshi, you look at fucking Mario World, there's not a single skyscraper, there's not a single thing made out of bricks except for the castle.
Yeah.
And the brick blocks. No, actually, that game didn't have brick blocks. But it's like, you look at these, and it's like you had so much potential. You could have looked at this film.
Alright, let's pause for a second. I gotta go take my gummies.
Oh,
My foot gum.
you do that. I'll keep the recording going. I'll have a small conversation with the audience.
Okay.
You enjoy yourself. Okay. So everybody, yeah, I guess I'll just kind of talk a little bit on this movie a bit more because I've had so many conversations on why I dislike this movie. Okay. Who here's a fan of Mario? Raise your hands. I see you back there. So I grew up with Mario. Naturally, I'm gonna be a big Mario fan. My username is It's Me Wario. So I enjoy these games because they're lighthearted and silly and goofy, and that's always what I've enjoyed. So when this movie came out, when I was a kid, I thought this movie was fantastic. But growing up now, I realize that this film takes itself way too seriously. They literally throw somebody into slavery because she has a necklace, which is something Mario would never do. They would have like dungeons. They could go a little dark. Like they could have an entire fucking kingdom be destroyed by a giant Bowser. But at the end of the game, it's always going to be like, oh, everything's fine. But then you look at Dino Hatton, as it's called, and literally one of the first things you see is this giant fucking skyscraper with a billboard that says, "Re-elect President Koopa for 4 more years." And it's like, you're gonna bring politics into Mario? Funny Bing Bing Wahoo man? He's like, oh, I've always thought the politics was a fun, I voted for it, like that kind. That doesn't fit Mario. But like they introduced these themes of politics and like political everything. You bring like the regime into it. When you have a fucking like a Maslow's pyramid of I don't know. Maslow's pyramid is like Maslow's pyramid of happiness or whatever it's called. But once you have like a pyramid of like ranks, like the untouchables and like the gods. Once you have that in the Mario universe, you're starting to fuck shit up. It should just be like tiers rather than like at the top it should be like royalty, and then under that, I feel like I'm describing this poorly. Kayla needs to come back soon. But yeah, no. Generally, politics doesn't fit Mario. They've stated. Shut up, Dad. Shut up, Chatronic. Don't go live. Like politics and Mario, they don't blend. It's stupid. Why would you have politics in Mario? It's a fucking fantasy game about mushrooms.
I tried to scare you.
Oh yeah, no, you turned on your mic and I heard it, but I didn't. You didn't make a noise.
I screamed boo into the microphone.
Yeah, no, I was discussing why politics doesn't fit in Mario, so why it was so poorly implemented into the movie.
When was politics in the Mario movie? I don't even remember that.
It was like vote President Koopa.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like really clearly a bunch of political. Like you can listen through it again. You can shorten it if you want, because a lot of it was me, like rambling and stuttering about like blah blah blah. No, I feel like I'm explaining this poorly. I was describing like it shouldn't be like a pyramid of like untouchables versus like religious deities.
Yeah.
And then I explained it as a tier list, and it should go royalty. Oh wait, no, I'm describing this poorly. Like I literally had that one line in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know. Generally, I feel like darker tones should absolutely stick with being like sticking to their own lane,
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be forced into other projects. Like once you get like by that extension, it's like once you can compare like Donald Trump and Donkey Kong in the same universe, it's like take a step back.
Yeah.
You don't gotta bring politics into funny mushroom land.
And with that, we have reached the almost 130 mark.
Yeah, would you want to cut it off here then? I just realized we kind of accidentally went into discussion of movies. Like there was the
Yeah, it was just we were
literally
supposed to do it. We just did it by accident.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fixed this lad, by the way. Look at him. What a lad.
Lad.
He was in one game.
Anyway, I'm gonna do an outro.
Yeah, you do the outro. Do you have any final words you wanna?
I just want to say, I wish everybody luck. I hope by the time that we post this, there's some good news in the world. But I wish everybody luck.
Doesn't look too likely.
Probably not. I mean, I'm hoping, but I wish everybody a good safe quarantine. You know, don't get sick, otherwise I'll find you. And
we have permits from the government to murder anyone.
Yes, yeah, we do.
Who is bad, who
Yeah.
is having a bad quarantine.
And if your vibes are bad, we just kill you. So.
Oh yeah, if your vibes are bad, prepare for eradication.
Yeah.
We have
Termination.
Law. Yeah, immediate termination.
Yeah. I think that's it. Just immediate termination.
Yeah, we should probably end it there.
Okay.
So
we'll
I've
stop
been
recording.
writing this screenplay for a political drama